So while most people are thrilled with just staying inside, playing video games for hours on end, these characters in this show, well, they're tired of it and they just want it to end. Let's talk about Alice in Borderland. Welcome back to TLC Reviews. I'm Tyler, and you know, it's been a while. Hope you had a great holiday, a nice little New Year's as well. You're welcome to the first review of 2021. Speaking of 2021, it's already brought us some incredible new shows. Of course, the third season of Cobra Kai. If you're like me, you've probably blazed right through that and you're looking for something new and exciting. Well, the end of 2020, Alice in Borderland was released, and you're probably thinking, well, that sounds very similar to Alice in Wonderland. And not to give anything away, but it definitely does borrow elements, and it's a series you're not going to want to miss. Let's get into it. So an obsessed gamer suddenly finds himself in a strange, emptied out version of Tokyo, in which he and his friends must compete in dangerous games in order to survive. The series is based on a graphic novel of the same name from Haro Aso, and is directed by Shinsuke Sato, who also directed the live-action version of Bleach, so you kind of know what you're getting into. The show hooked me for two reasons. One, video games, this thing that everyone's doing during the pandemic. Whether you liked video games to the start or not, you've probably played a few already. Two, my girlfriend is a huge fan of the overall culture of Japan, so it just seemed like the perfect show for us to sit down and watch. So from the first opening shots of Alice in Borderland, you can tell that they had a really big budget to play around with. There are some absolutely gorgeous backdrops of Tokyo, showing all the facets of the humongous city and teeming with people. And it looks like a great time until they find themselves basically in a completely different world, all by themselves. Now, once you get to the first game in the show, you pretty much know what you're getting into. Very quickly, the series ramps up the tension, keeps you wondering and asking questions the whole time. And throughout the series, you actually get a fair amount of backstory, even on the supporting characters, not just the main characters. And it makes you genuinely care whether the characters live or die. So you're not just like, who was that again? My first concern though was, like video games, you know, would this be boring? Would there be lack of variety eventually? Would it get tedious? And I am happy to say that this is not the case at all. Each game is actually really unique and, you know, a lot of fun. It builds tension. Okay, I wouldn't say fun, but it's fun for the viewer, and it builds tension as the action and suspense continue to the very end of each episode. But if I did have to say anything, you know, a little bit negative about Alice in Borderland, towards the second half, there is less character development, and it's much more focused on the twist. Like, what is actually happening here? Should I care? Which makes sense, but it definitely makes the show a little less concise. But all in all, Alice in Borderland, I would highly recommend this series. It's a thrill ride from the start to the finish. And like I said before, it keeps you guessing throughout each episode. Second half is a little bit, it's very different than the first. There's a completely different shift in tone, but it does have some fantastic acting throughout the entire runtime of the series and some spectacular action. So there are lots of movies that are based on video games. They often suck. So it was good to see a series centered around games that incorporated it extremely well. It wasn't boring, I was interested throughout, but now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite television series or movie that's centered around video games? I'm Tyler with TLC Reviews. Leave a like and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Let me know what you think of the show as well. It's a lot of fun and I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you later. Have a good one.